Archives of Prasar Bharati presents the timeless treasure of golden era.
It was during my childhood when I first began to feel the thrills of acting that I joined new theatres on a salary of 100 rupees. We heard of the legends that lived in the studio. For every artist like me, it was a dream to be called by the elephant banner. Hardly had I begun to find my feet when new theatres closed down. Now, after all these years, the New Theatres Production Company has set out to relive its past. I have been called upon to play Uma Shoshi in Chandidash. But is it the same thing?
Modibo Shokhi Nishchoy Modibo Ami Kanu Heno Gunonidhi Kare di jabo
আমার কানু হ্যালো গুণনিধি আমি আগে ছবির জগৎটা আমাদের কাছে
For us, cinema was at the time untouchable.
এ লাইনে যেন কোনো ভদ্রলোক
It was no place for the gentleman.
কিন্তু মিস্টার সরকার
The N Sircar was the first to change all that.
ভদ্র চেহারা দিলেন ছবি
He gave new theatres a respectable image.
ছেলেরা এলো
It was a house for educated young men
যেমন নিতিন বোস
like Nitin Bose, Mukul Bose and Otul Chatterjee,
এরা সব
who was an MSc in applied physics.
অ্যাপ্লাইড ফিজিক্সে এমএসসি ছিলেন এবং সেই সব লোকরা এখানে এসে কাজ আরম্ভ করে দিল এদিকে গানের যারা টপ
In music, it found R.C. Boral, Timir Boron and Pankaj Mullik.
সেটা ছবির করার মধ্যে একটা রুচি নিয়ে এলেন
New theatres brought a different kind of taste to the cinema.
আলাদা ঐতিহ্য খাড়া হয়ে
It created a tradition of its own.
আমি এই যে অস্পৃশ্য কথাটা বললাম না ইউথেসে প্রথম সাকসেসফুল ছবি
It made Chandidash on the subject of untouchability.
সেটি সুপার হিট করল
জানি তুই বিধবা জানি বছর 10 আগে যেদিন আমার প্রথম মনে হলো আমি মেয়ে মানুষ সেই দিনই জানলাম যে আমি বিধবা জানি তোর রূপ আছে তোর বয়স আছে জলের ধারে কাপড় কাচতে কাচতে দেখেছি সখী কি বলিলে আমার যৌবন যৌবন কি আমার আজও আছে সখী বয়স সত্য হলে ওগো প্রিয় সখী, আমি ভেবেছিলাম আমার যৌবন বুঝি সখী রে
প্রথম ছবি আরম্ভ করলেন সাহিত্যের ভালো ভালো গল্প নিয়ে কি
New
করে ভালো
theatre
ছবি
started
করা যায়।
making films based on good
পরবর্তীকালে
literature.
তারপর মধ্যেই চণ্ডীদাসের অস্পৃশ্যতা দিয়ে
That is how
একটা
Chandidash
বিরাট ছবি
also
করলেন।
got made.
এবং তারপরে নিউ থিয়েটারের ছবি দেখাটা
After
যেন
that, watching
আমাদের কাছে
new
একটা
theatre films became
কর্তব্যের
our
মতো।
duty.
এবং নিউ থিয়েটারে যারা
For
সিনেমায় কাজ
everyone
করতে
who
চায়,
wanted to
তারাও
work in
যেন
films,
থিয়েটারে ঢোকবার জন্য
many
আগ্রহী
of them
হয়েছে।
began
এবং
coming
নানা
to new
experimental
theatres.
ছবি এখানে হয়েছে।
A lot of
যেমন
experiment
আমাদের
was being
আজকে
conducted.
আউটডোর প্রধান আমরা ছবি করি, তখনকার দিনে নিতিনবাবু
Nitin Babu's Desher Mati was mainly shot outdoors. It was made near Damdam and told the story of a man who wanted to use improved techniques in agriculture. Desher Mati had two qualities: one, the outdoor locations, and two, the songs of Pankaj Mollik. He composed one song in which one voice was superimposed on another. The experiment was repeated in Hindi. If you hear the song, you'll wonder how it was recorded through one microphone.
কিন্তু অপূর্ব।
Oh, it was long back, I think about 52 years back. I joined New Theatres sometimes in 1946. And my first day I was flabbergasted to see the studios, you see, and all those great names which I heard before, like cameraman Bimal Rai and Nitin Bose, Loken Bose, sound engineer, and technicians. Particularly I was interested with the technicians, you see. So anyway, I was taken to Bani Babu, Bani Datto, another great sound engineer. And just he talked to me for some time and said that from tomorrow we'll work. So that was something very important of New Theatre Studios, you see. It was, apart from a studio, I think it was an institution for the technicians. They used to teach the technicians in the process of filmmaking.
दुनिया भर के लोग हमारी, दुनिया भर के लोग हमारी, आंखों के तारे, हमको जुबान प्यारे।
আমার এখানে এসে
When
মনে
I
হলো
came
যে
here,
ছোট্ট
it was like coming to a little Shantiniketan.
এইখানে
We had Pandit Bhushan writing the Hindi scripts.
লিখছেন
Kochida would work in the editing room near the pond. Bimal Roy would be writing his scripts. While shooting was in progress in one of the floors, and Rai Babu and Pankaj Da would be busy composing music, the air of creativity prevailed. If you wanted to be an assistant, you had to go through every department of filmmaking: laboratory, editing, sound, and camera. Only after that, you became an assistant director. Even after that, one was working and learning simultaneously.
তখন আমাদের ডেভিডি ক্যামেরায় শুটিং হতো, সেই লেন্স টেন্স নিয়ে আমাদের দেখতে হতো।
We had to learn all about cameras and lenses, but we were taught mainly how to make good films that would inspire the audience.
The way they used to make the technicians was something unique. What I remember, one day, after working there for 6 or 7 months, and then we were very friendly to each other. Now, there are 3 directors, they were making simultaneously in 3 different floors. So, supposing Hem Chandra was directing a film, and he built a staircase. And he finished with that staircase. The next director would come, and he was working with a newcomer, an artist, you see. What I found that there is no light in the floor, and the artist was asked to come down and go up over and over again for half an hour while reciting his own lines. And meanwhile, Kamal Bose was the cameraman. He was promoted to be a cameraman in Hamrahi. With Bimal Roy he used to work. Another great cameraman. Eventually went to Bombay later on. So Kamal immediately brought his camera, and he used to follow that person. He was going up and down, you see. So he was the operation of the camera. And in those days they used to, they used to work with a big camera, which weighing about, say, 200 pounds. That was debris camera. The 4 persons used to lift the camera. You know? So it was a process of learning. Even I remember, in the sharp contrast of today's atmosphere in the studios, that at 6 p.m., after it was packed up, then Loken Bose used to come in. He had an off day. And then he was asked, he'd bring his sound van under a mango tree, and he used to work up to 10 o'clock at the night. And then I used to ask him, what is wrong, Lokenda? Well, my galvanometer is giving certain trouble. What are you to check? And up to 10 o'clock, all by himself. So there is no overtime as such of today's. They were never cared for this overtimes and etc. In other words, they were passionately in love with filmmaking, what I felt later on. Really passionately in love with filmmaking. And that's perhaps make the institution running. I mean, it was so popular all around India. Even new theatres film used to go to South Africa in those days, back in 40s and 30s.
आज थालों में संदल आने को है आज प्यालों में उपटन आने को है आज थालों में संदल आने को है आज प्यालों में उपटन आने को है आव तराने छेड़े नए आओ मिलजुल के गाने गाए नए आओ शादी रचाए शोर हम सब नए ये शादी नहीं आओ दुनिया बदलने का दिन आ गया रे फूलों के हार बहार आई बहार बहार आई बहार
এই বকুলতলা এইখানে আমাদের কত ছবির স্বপ্ন দেখেছি
Under this Bokul, we dreamt so many dreams of making films. It was here that Nitin Babu read out an entire script to us. Subodh Ganguly made us stand on the bench for making mistakes. But we had no regrets because we were learning. A lot of books on cinema were also arriving. Pankaj Mullik brought over a book on background music from Hollywood.
Without new theatres, perhaps, I don't know what would happen, particularly for the technical aspects of a motion picture. I think which is equally important. Film is 50% science and 50% art, you know. From that context, I think new theatre's contribution is unthinkable. Without those great masters like Atul Chatterjee or Madhushil, in camera, Nitin Bose. Nitin was a person who taught what is the meaning of the word composition in camera. And I was very fond of Nitinda.
बंदर प्रेसिडेंट प्रेसिडेंट दरवाजा खोलिए मैं हूं डॉक्टर सेठी प्रेसिडेंट
এরকম শোক আমি পেয়েছি আমার বাবার মৃত্যুতে।
It was the kind of shock I had felt when my father and mother died, when Gurudev Rabindranath died, when Gandhiji was assassinated. That was the kind of shock I felt when I learned that new theatres would not make films anymore. Hemchandra stood up and said that a chapter had ended for Bengali films and that it would be difficult to reopen a similar kind of chapter. We became orphans. Ultimately, we found shelter in another studio.
যাও আমরা পরে অন্য একটা স্টুডিওতে শেল্টার পেয়েছিলাম, কিন্তু আমরা যা কিছু আজকে যা করেছি অল ফর নিউ থিয়েটার্স।
তোমার ওই ওয়াশটা দাও না, তোমাদের ওই জায়গাটা অন্ধকার।
The studios in Taliganj have never been the same after new theatres, followed by many others, pulled down the shutters in quick succession. The system had collapsed. The family atmosphere had disappeared. Today, the studios have changed, the people have changed, the climate has changed. We, filmmakers, artists, technicians, are left to the uncertainty of a daily struggle to survive. Why is it like this? Does the problem lie with us or with the times? Why can't we return to the good old days? Perhaps that's only a dream. In reality, we have to walk through a long and lonely road.
इतना बता दे क्यों मुझसे खफा है तू, क्या मैंने किया है। औरों को खुशी मुझको फकत दो रंज गम, दुनिया को हंसी और मुझे रोना दिया है। क्या मैंने किया है, क्या मैंने किया है। जीते हैं लोग रोज शब मुसर्रतों की, मैं हूँ के सदा खून जिगर मैंने पिया है। क्या मैंने किया है, क्या मैंने किया है। था जिनके दम कदम से ये आबाद आशियाँ, वो चाहती बुलबुले जाने गई कहाँ। जुगनों की चमक है ना सितारों की रोशनी, इस धूप अंधेरे में है मेरी जान पर बनी। क्या थी, क्या थी, क्या थी खता के जिसकी सजा तूने मुझको दी। क्या था, क्या था गुनाह के जिसका बदला मुझसे लिया है। क्या मैंने किया है, क्या मैंने किया है। क्यों मुझसे खफा है तू, क्या मैंने किया।